Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome. If not, welcome back. And if you find this content something that you enjoy, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Now, on to the video. What I will be doing today is sublimating a baby blanket. This video will be posted in two parts. Part 1 will include me cutting the fabric and taping my images together, and part 2 will include me sublimating the baby blanket and sewing it together. So right now what I'm doing is cutting my fabric, and I'm cutting it to size 31 by 41 because I want the end results to be a 30 by 40. The tools that I'm using today are a fabric ruler, rotary tool, and my self-healing mat. This fabric is a soft fleece, and I did purchase it at Joann's. And so what I start with my fabric folded right sides together, and that is how I cut it. Here I am just folding the fabric and smoothing it out because this is a very soft fleece and it kind of bunches up easily. So I want to lay it out and smooth it out before I cut off my edges. Okay, so I fold my fabric in half again. You don't necessarily have to do this because I'm working on a kind of small but not too small workspace. I want to fold my fabric in half so I can cut the fabric all at one time. I'm going to cut off the folded edge, and I also cut off the raw edge that comes straight off the bolt. And pardon me for sounding a little nasally because I am a little under the weather, or I was rather. I'm getting over it now. Okay, and we're just going to speed up the video here for time's sake. And now what we have here is the 2 pieces needed to sublimate the blanket. So now I will be trimming all of the white edges off of my images that I need to tape together. You don't necessarily have to trim all of the white edges off, but I like to do that just to make sure that my blanket has all of the image on there, that there's no white on there. Okay, so I'm going to trim all the edges. And usually with my images, I do a half-inch overlap, but with this image, for some reason, I entered 0.05, so there is barely any overlap. However, it did still work out perfectly for me. If you're a beginner, I would not recommend that because you may end up with a seam on your project. And now that I've trimmed all of the white border off, we're about to start the process of taping the image together. Just so I always use small strips of tape to begin with, and then after I've taped it and have my paper laid the way I want it, I go back and I use long strips of tape to hold my images together or my pages together. And the small strips, they help you be able to reposition your image easier. You don't have to pull up like the whole paper. You can pull it up in sections if you need to reposition any of it. Okay, we're turning it over and I'm going to tape it all the way together. And for me, this is just because I don't want any ghosting. However, with my tacky paper, I never get ghosting. Like, it's very, very rare. And that is the first image all taped together, and we'll move on to the second part and just doing the same process. But you will see more so with this image how small of a overlap I have to work with, or how little of an overlap I have to work with. And I did make this design in Photoshop. And if you see any white on the part that you're going to be taping together, any white that doesn't belong, you want to go ahead and trim that off because it will show in your finished product. You will see a seam. And it can be the smallest thing, but you will see it. Here we have the completed taped together image ready to be sublimated. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload my next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in part 2.